Hello, hello. My name is Sharp Eyes,
And I am Crucifix.
and welcome to another episode of
WeCast.
where we cast
Your game.
and you play.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what we are opening a new segment this today. What's our awesome, exciting new segment called, Sharp Eyes?
It's gonna be called Half Hour of StarCraft 2 Coaching Power.
Nice. And so basically, that's the really cool way of saying that the coaching sessions are now going to be, instead of an hour long of long detailed coaching, they're still going to be detailed, but they're going to be crunched into a half hour of just intense, deep analysis. No more fooling around. You are going to get the tips you need when you need them, which is right now.
No more talking about McDonald's.
No more, except a little bit, because it's really good.
Nope.
Nope. So who do we
So,
have? Yeah, let's go ahead and show off our gamers today.
alright. So, yep.
Game resumed.
So, this coaching session is gonna be, let's see, ZV, PVT, and, it's gonna be, xPepperz as our coachee, I
Okay.
believe.
Now, speaking of which, xPepperz is in the bottom right hand corner. He's playing the blue Terran, and we are gonna speed it up just a little bit so that we can get past a couple. The first few minutes of the game because that's the boring part, and there's no boring in the half hour of coaching power.
Absolutely. I
Um,
mean, we do not want you to get bored.
at all. Now, who do we have in the upper left-hand corner?
Some random Protoss player.
Okay. Let's go ahead and slow this down a little bit. Getting a little out of hand here. And it's been so intense that we froze the game a little bit. Can you hear me there, Sharp Eyes? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Okay, go ahead and let's go ahead and analyze a little bit. So let's watch this at normal speeds until we can get a grip on what's happening on both of our bases. Now we have a non-fast expand build from the Terran player. He went for an early tech lab and a factory with one gas. This will be a gas. This will be a gas restricted build as opposed to a mineral restricted build, most likely, just because of where the tech lab was. Now, xPepperz, one thing that you might want to consider when you're doing your build order. Oh, and you did. It looks like you did get yourself in a little bit of supply block there, which is never good. First tip I have: always try to build your supply depot by 21 supply, because that's around 21 to 22 supplies around where you need it to keep from getting supply blocked at that 27 area that you got supply blocked at. Also, another thing is that if you built your tech lab very early, but you aren't using it for anything. You're not researching anything. You're not making any marauders. Now you are, but you've had the tech lab for several minutes now. One thing you might want to consider is, instead of getting the tech lab, maybe skip the tech lab and get your starport right after your factory, and then do the tech lab, because that way you're able to get your starport out. You're able to get your starport up and running much faster, and you'd still have your tech lab down in time to get the marauders that you want.
And also, you really need an orbital command. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. Command centers are good, but orbital command centers are way better.
Way better. You'll see now. I know you're thinking, well, I have plenty of minerals. I don't need an orbital command. This way, I can keep making SCVs. But it only takes about, I think it's 30 seconds to build an orbital command, something like that, which is not that much time at all, especially on faster. And you'll find that your minerals, you'll just have so many more. So it is looking like yeah, let's go ahead and slow this down. I can't, my computer can't handle it.
Oh, and a really good timing to get the orbital command is at 15 supply.
15 or 16, it's up to you. If you get the gas, before you get, if you get the gas before 15 supply, go ahead and wait till 16 supply, because you want that you want that one extra SCV mining while it turns into an orbital. Now I like your Widowmine defense against possible oracles, because as you know, one Widowmine will take out one Widowmine will take out an oracle, so I like that a lot. And it is looking like we are gonna see a little bit of a push with a Marine Marauder type situation while taking an expansion. Oh, and it is looking like there's some sort of proxy nexus with like some light cannons or something. So this is basically, let's see. Do you have stim? Yeah, you're researching stim. So I don't understand the play from the Protoss here, just because it doesn't really make sense. Why put your expansion right here? I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't get this play from the Protoss at all. Like, this is infinitely less safe than if it was at his natural expansion. But I guess he is trying some sort of, I don't know, cheese up onto your, like maybe put a cannon up here or something. I don't know. But okay, can we rewind just a little bit so we can look at that engagement to see how the Terran player might have been able to handle that a little better? Just go ahead and slow it down. Okay, so see right here, it's looking like, okay, it's looking like you wanted to kill the mothership core and focus that down. And while the mothership core is, you know, a big target, when you kind of have to look at your positioning here, because you had cannons and you had units that were in between you and the mothership core. So by doing that, you actually lost most of your units on the way over there, and eventually took out the mothership core with your Viking. But you lost almost all of your ground units. Now, you do have some good defenses set up, so you might be able to hold for a bit. But because you lost most of your ground units, it's going to be difficult. Sharp Eyes, what do you think he could be doing right now to better react to this?
Quite honestly, I think that the Terran player should have built a lot of more barracks earlier on to produce from, since it actually does look like he doesn't have nearly enough units to do much of anything at this point.
I think part of that was because when the harassment started, he probably stopped macroing as much as he should have been. Yeah, sorry, I had to turn down my graphics there a little bit because my computer isn't quite Gosu enough. So yeah, for one thing, you do have two bases here, two orbital commands, and you don't have nearly enough production for this many bases. You need at least 2 more barracks, and you have to be getting upgrades, and researching like combat shields and everything at the same time to use all your minerals. So if you want to, instead of getting just 2 more barracks, when you're on 2 bases, get 3 more barracks. Another thing is, look how many workers are on your main, and look how many workers are on your natural. You have 4 on your natural. Well, you're about to have 0 because it's gonna die. But you have 30 on your main, and you could have. And even though, you know, it didn't really matter in this game because you didn't have enough production to use your minerals anyways. In the future, you're gonna find that having that oversaturating your main is going to hurt you, because when you have any more than 24 workers on mining minerals, then you get 0 more minerals. If you have 25 out of 24, you're going to get the exact same amount as if you had 24. And Sharp Eyes, what's the optimum number of SUVs to have on each base?
The optimum number is 16.
That's correct. Now it is looking like you're doing an okay job focusing down these stalkers, but see, one mistake I think you made there is you tried to siege your tank when it was already at the front line there fighting, which is a common mistake that new players will make, because number one, a tank does less DPS to a single target when in siege mode, and number two, if it's already right next to the units, and see, you did it a couple more times there. If it's already right next to the units, it's going to die before it gets into siege mode anyways. So don't feel like a tank is useless outside of siege mode. That's not true. And at this point, it's looking like he's just going to do a photon cannon contain and probably just expand. Well, he should be expanding, but in any case, I like the switch to the planetary fortress here because of the situation you're in. And you know, you are going to want to try to repair that if it starts getting too low on health, but you're fine. Now it is looking like you did eventually build a couple more barracks, which is nice. Sharpeyes, do you have any more suggestions?
So yeah, so
Game paused.
you really should be building more productions since one base can actually handle about 2 barracks, a factory, and a starport.
Mm-hmm.
And then with 2 bases, I'm gonna have double that. So maybe 2 factories, 2 starports, and then 4 barracks, and then just be constantly making units out of them. I noticed that you're not continually producing units out of your factory north starport, which also makes your mineral and gas quite high.
I see that you do have your I see like the way you have your hotkey set up. You have barracks on 4, factory on 5, starport on 6, and the reason that I have issue with that is because number one, 6 is hard to reach, and a lot of times to reach 5 and 6, to reach 6, you kind of have to look down. Unless you have time practice, you kind of have to look down to the keyboard, and and besides that, you really need. Oh, by the way, you really need some medevacs in this army. You don't want to overstim and then lose your army because it's already low in health. So see now see how low health your Marines and Marauders were because of that stim, and so that allowed him to just roll over that army. So yeah, you really need some medevacs. But what I was going to say is instead of having your barracks on 1, your starport on 5, your barracks on 4, your starport on 5, and your factory on 6, have all 3 of them on 4. That's what I do, and what I'll do is I'll hit 4, and then my barracks will come up, and then I'll hit tab, and then my factory will come up, and then I'll hit tab, and my starport will come up, and that allows me to I'll hit 4, and then I can hit tab, tab AAA, tab SS for the tanks, tab DD for the medevacs, and and I can produce much faster and macro much faster when instead of having to go 4S, 4S, 4A, 5S, 6D, like remembering all of those different key combinations. All you have to do is remember 4 and then your shortcuts, and then tab when you're done with that specific building order. And it's really, really helpful, and I think you'll find that it'll make macro easier.
Yep. All right, so we have 2 more replays to go and 15 minutes. So let's
do it.
let's do it. Go ahead and quit your replay, Crucifix, and let's go into the second one.
Okay. So yeah, I think from that last game, you really needed some medevacs, and I think you kind of just forgot to produce out of your starport because of everything that was going on. And one thing you could have done maybe is switch that starport for your factory. I think the factory might have had a reactor on it, but in any case, yeah, just try to get all that production on 4, and then it'll be much easier. It'll be much easier not to forget any of your buildings. Sharpeyes, I think I'm going to go ahead and let you handle the majority of this game.
Okay.
I like the bunker instead of the barracks. It's a little slower of a wall, but it's a lot safer. So. Okay, so what kind of build do we see here? Looks like you're doing an early medevac drop, which isn't bad. Never mind. The medevac came back.
So I do notice that you're doing a really good job at continually producing workers, but you're actually not producing army units continuously, which could hamper you in the
Game
long run.
resumed.
It does look like you have. It does look like you're going for a doom drop situation, maybe. You did two medevacs, three medevacs now, so it is looking like it's going to be a big drop into his base. Um, let's go ahead and slow it down a little bit so we can see what's going on. So that was really effective. You did take out his. You did take out his natural expansion, which for some reason was at his third base. Um, see, one thing here is your Marines were you had plenty of Marines to take on those Void Rays. There were only 3 there, and you had almost you only had almost 20 Marines. So what I would suggest is next time, go ahead and just take that fight. Focus them down one by one. Even I know you don't have stim yet. Now you do, but even then, all you against those 3 Marines, against those 3, you would have been just fine. Now, what I think is probably going to happen is you're going to try to A-click up here, and then see. This is another situation where you have no medevacs, and now your army is almost dead. He's massing Void Rays, and the longer he has, the longer it's going to take for the more Void Rays and stuff as he's going to have, because he went for a super fast tech build, and
Game paused.
and you're now sitting outside his base with a very hurt army.
Yeah, and over here, I know that there's a tech lab on this starport, and I know that you like Banshees, but if you see him coming with air units, don't make any more air to ground units.
Yep. I mean, as soon as you saw those three Void Rays, you should have immediately started making Vikings. Now you see, I saw that you stemmed twice just now to try to get your army back over there as fast as possible. But look how low health all of your units have 5 health. They're gonna just instantly die. So I would say number 1 tip for you, like overall in both of these games, don't make any more Banshees. Put a reactor on your starport and make medevacs instead. The medevacs are super good. Like they are super good. And pro players like to have around 8 medevacs out with a big army. And you know, if you have a smaller army, 4 or 5 medevacs can make a 100 supply army twice as good as it could be. Especially if you're going to plan on using stim, medevacs are a necessity so that situations like this doesn't happen where all of your units now have all of a sudden have 5 health.
Yep. All right, next replay.
Okay, let's do it. Now, so yeah, big points to take from that are, reactionary play. When you see Void Rays, don't make you don't need to make don't make Banshees. If you have medevacs, if you have plenty of medevacs out or a couple out already, start making Vikings and things that can hit air units. So start making Marines, start making Vikings. If you see, a super early Colossus, start making Vikings, start making Marauders. What's our time looking like in the power half hour?
Looking like 19 minutes. Have 11.
Okay, sweet. So we do have 11 minutes here. Sharpwise, what do you think? Were the big points from that last game? Just basically medevacs or what?
Yeah. So I know that the Banshee is a really good unit because it kills ground units and it does a lot of damage.
But it can cloak. But yeah.
But don't get Banshees because of the fact that they're good. Only get them if you know that they're gonna do some major damage. So bottom line is you should always get a reactor on your starport because because not only does it allow you to get medevacs, which are one of the best assets to the Terran army, but it allows you to pump out 2 Vikings at a time in response to mass air units.
Right. And yeah, the
Game
Banshees
resumed.
really are only used. I mean, they can be used late game against Terran if they're going heavy tanks. They can be used, but against Protoss, Banshees are good if they're going like some sort of mass like zealot Colossi build or something. But really, Banshees are not used that much past the early stages of the game. Looks like you did put yourself in a little bit of supply block again. Remember that 21 time frame that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, Banshees usually aren't used past the first few minutes of the game, and to do a cloaked Banshee rush type situation. And if you are trying to do an early cloaked Banshee rush, you want that first Banshee coming out by about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So what I would suggest is if you are trying to do some cloaked Banshee openings, go online, find a build order for cloaked Banshee, and then practice it in a custom game over and over again until you can get your Banshee out when you need to. Because if you're getting a Banshee out at 8 minutes, it's not going to do very well at all.
Yep. Now, this replay I actually really like because you open up with triple barracks and you expanded right behind it with an orbital command. So yeah, this is a very strong opener, but you actually could be pumping out a little bit more Marines right now, as if you did get attacked right now, you would have pretty much died.
Game
Right. I mean,
resumed.
if he had four-gated you, you would have died. Luckily he didn't do any sort of early aggression. You probably are ahead. Now, I really like how well you're spending your minerals. You're actually quite good at spending your minerals in the early stages of the game. It's only once you start getting into some sort of engagements where you start having trouble spending. And it is looking like, once again, Protoss is going Mass Void Ray. So basically you find yourself in a situation where... oh, okay, well, it does look like you were able to kill those Void Rays
Game paused.
pretty
So
easily.
so pretty much that was only about 8 to 10 Marines versus 4 Void Rays, was it?
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4, and you know, you had a lot more last time. And one thing you could have done next time, if you are worried that you don't have enough Marines against something like that, is pull your Marines out of your bunker. Ooh, that was rough. Now
So
I see what
he's
you.
going, yeah.
No, go ahead.
So he's going Void Rays. What do you do? Let's see, you're making. So, so pretty much,
Game
if he's going
paused.
Void Rays, don't make any more Marauders since they can only
hmm
attack ground. And also, I do notice that you're opening up a starport, which is good. Do you have 1-1 yet? You do not. So pretty much also, getting that +1 upgrade is very vital to the Terran army as well, since it amplifies your damage so much more.
Now this is the same.
Game
This is the
resumed.
same. Situation as last time. As soon as you see those Void Rays, you went over to his base and you attacked, and you went over to your base and you killed those Void Rays. Now I know why you went over to his base, because you're thinking, oh, I shut down his early aggression. That means I should go over there and do some damage, which usually would be a good idea. But because he went Void Rays, you can assume he's going to have more Void Rays over there, and you only had about 8 Marines left and some Marauders here. And I think you're going to find that it's going to be the same thing where, number one, you didn't have any medevacs, so when you stemmed, the Void Rays killed your Marines much faster, and then you were left with Marauders and tanks, which can't even hit Void Rays. And so when you see those Void Rays, number one, start only making Marines. Number two, put down a starport immediately if you don't have one, because it took you a little while to get it down. It might be because you didn't have a factory yet. But yeah, in the future, I would definitely recommend getting that starport as fast as possible, getting a reactor on it, pumping out those Vikings, and number three, put up missile turrets in your mineral line so he can't kill your so he can't kill your and put some around the perimeters of your base so that he can't just keep coming back and picking off buildings with his Void Rays. And once you hard counter his Void Ray build with Marines and Vikings, and Widow Mines, then you're going to find yourself he's going to find himself in a position where he's making units that are as bad as what you're making.
Yep. So no more Marauders against Void Rays.
As soon as you see Void Rays, stop making anything, because if you see a Void Rays at the, what was it, like the 9-minute mark, you're gonna know you know that he is committed hard to those Void Rays. He is fast teching, and so you can stop making Marauders. You know he's not gonna go Stalker. People, Terran players usually make a lot of Marauders against Protoss because Protoss likes Stalkers so much. But if he's going a 4 Stargate build and you see Voids in your base, that's the time to say no more Marauders, all Marines, all Vikings, Widow Mines. Just like you want stuff that can hit air units. And make sure you get those medevacs because they're so important.
Yep. I mean, the last time that I saw a bioarmory without a medevac was back in Bronze, actually. So so I think that if you got those medevacs, I mean, you can make it out of Bronze easily.
Yeah, like medevac is like your number one thing. Like you can get stim without medevacs if you're doing like some super early like 9-minute cheese where you don't need them because you have just so many units that they're just going to die. But if you're trying to do a mid-game strategy with stim, if you don't use medevacs, then you're just asking to lose. I think medevacs are what are costing you these games. Medevacs and not being reactionary to what he's killing you with. Because it's not too hard to just say to yourself, okay, he's making mass air, let's make anti-air units.
Yep. All right, so we're almost out of time here, but in the next few minutes, let's try to list 10 things that he can work on. Chris, let's go.
Medevacs.
Okay. Number 2, more Marines.
Number 3, you're good at spending your minerals at the beginning of the game, but then you get an expansion and you don't increase production. You can't expand and then expect to be able to use all your minerals just like you were on one base. You have to get you did eventually get a couple more barracks, but there isn't a reactor, there aren't any tech labs. If you want to go, 5 barracks are the correct number for 2 bases, but you have to put add-ons on them to be able to use all of your minerals properly.
Yep. What number are we on? 4?
Yeah.
Number 4, orbital command at 15 or 16.
Number 5, don't get supply blocked at that 27 time marker because that's a very important time. You need to have your supply depot down by 21 or 22 supply.
Number 6, reactionary play. So if he's going air, make sure you have that starport with a reactor ready to pump out Vikings.
Number 7, do a little bit of scouting. I'm not talking about sending an SCV out after your first supply depot and then sending another one out, 2 minutes later. What I'm saying is at around 6 minutes and 20 seconds, you want to do a scan of his base. No matter who the enemy is, you want to do a scan at about 6 minutes and 20 seconds because that's when their build should be solidified, and especially against Terran. But against Protoss, same thing. If you had scanned his main at 6 minutes and 20 seconds, I guarantee you would have seen those Stargates, and you would have known to start building anti-air units.
Yep. Number 8, right?
Yep.
Number 8. Number 8.
How about SCV saturation?
Oh yeah. Okay. So only have up to 16 SCVs working at one base at a time. Especially if you have 2 orbital commands. So as soon as you reach 16, lift off your second one, land it at your expo, and then transfer half.
Yep. Number 9.
Yep.
Number nine, spend your minerals. If you find yourself in a position where you have too many minerals and you just don't know, if you find yourself where you have too many minerals and you already have enough production, so say you had five barracks and they all had add-ons, or you had three barracks, you had four barracks and you had a factory and you had a starport, and you know that that's the correct number of buildings you need to produce. You're like, oh, I don't want to just build more production and then not have any minerals later. What you can do is first of all, you need to make sure you're researching every upgrade that you can. If you don't have engineering bays, build them. If you do have engineering bays, start the upgrades you need. If you don't have enough gas to do the upgrades, build refineries at your expansion, because a lot of times people forget their refineries. If you're already researching both out of both engineering bays, you're researching all your upgrades. Start building command centers. Build one or two command centers. That's 800 minerals that at least are doing something. So build those, turn them into orbital commands when they're done, and then lift them off to two separate bases. If you lose them, okay, that sucks, but at least you used the minerals for something, and you have the chance to not lose them. So yeah, spend your minerals.
Okay, and at number 10, last but not least, whenever you get supply blocked, usually you just panic and then try to build a supply depot, blah blah. But what I want you to do is the next time you get supply blocked, I want you to go through all your buildings and figure out things that you need to research. So combat shields, stim pack, +1 upgrades, stuff like that. As Crucifix has noted, it's important to be spending your minerals, and what better time to spend them than when you're supply blocked.
Exactly. Basically, what a supply block is it's forcing you to skip SCVs. It's forcing you to skip SCVs and military units. And some people will do that in a strategy. They'll skip SCVs so that they can get something else out earlier. So if you're being forced to skip SCVs anyways, and you don't have an X call down available, and that's another good point. Don't be afraid to use an X call down. If you have one available, it's more important to use that than it is to use it as a mule and wait for the supply depot to build, because a lot of times the like if you get supply blocked and you don't even have one building yet, that's a really big deal. So use those X call downs. But if you don't have one available, and you're being forced to skip units, at least use the extra minerals you're getting to get something earlier than you would have otherwise. Get your +1 early, get combat shields early, just like Sharp Eyes said.
Yep. And let's go ahead and toss in a bonus one. Number 11, Crucifix.
Number 11 is if you enjoyed today's coaching session, give us a review over at nerdupgrades.com. We'd really appreciate it.
Yep, that we would. I mean, we work hard to bring you guys these awesome coaching tutorials, and pretty much we're just looking to give back to the community as Crucifix and I were noobs once, and
Exactly.
so we just pretty much want all you guys to benefit from this coaching and get better and become better gamers.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. Well, that was the coaching session. Crucifix, what do you have to say about that?
I have to say that was a very powerful, power half-hour StarCrafting coaching session.
That was very powerful.
Indeed.
Indeed. All right. Once again, my name is Sharp Eyes,
And I am Crucifix.
and until next time,
Keep on playing.
keep on chugging.
Chugga chugga chugga.